title favorites.
Title favorites, bro. Win, lose, bad, win, good. Very simple. Wait. Did you just click on my video? Ah, that's dope. That's dope. God bless. I hope you're having a good day. Let's get to the video. Roll it! The greatest MVP race of our time.
Few weeks away from the end of the 2025 NBA regular season, and by this point, the MVP race is usually all but wrapped up. But what do you do when there's
I'm gonna start betting on the league.
two MVPs? History says you vote for
Man, there was a point in time where I was able to, I memorized so many players' stats. Like, I had the stat sheet and everything, bro. It was actually fun knowing all those numbers. I could recite a player's points per game, assists per game, rebounds per game.
The guy who was leading his team to the most wins of any team in a decade while putting up prime Michael Jordan numbers. Very clearly the best player on the best team, which should make this decision pretty obvious. Except it's not, because history has never seen a season like the one Nikola Jokic is having. It's better than this one, and this one, and this one. In fact, it is possibly the most impactful season anyone has ever had. 2 all-time great campaigns, and only 1 trophy. It is the greatest MVP race in recent history, and it has left voters completely torn, questioning what it even means to be the NBA's most valuable player.
But that nigga Nikola Jokic, bro, he reminds me of Fat Thor. Like, he reminds me of not the Thor off Marvel, the Thor off God of War, if y'all played the game. God of War Ragnarok, he reminds me of Fat Thor. Like, he's still cool as hell, but he fat.
Today's video is sponsored by
this nigga Nikola. He literally be moving like a YMCA player on the court, and he's still grabbing buckets. Just like him and Luka do that same shit. They move the same.
The most compelling case someone can make to be the most valuable player in the league is to put up the best numbers in the league. This isn't the only ingredient to the MVP recipe, but it's a big one. And right now, Jokic and Shea aren't just having the 2 best seasons in the NBA. They're having 2 of the best seasons of all time.
Really?
Just looking at some simple box score numbers, Nikola Jokic jumps off the screen like the obvious favorite. A near 30-point triple-double on nearly the best efficiency in the entire league, and the first player to ever be top 3 in points, rebounds, and assists. Numbers that make Shea's season look a bit pedestrian, despite being historic. 33, 5, and 6 on at least 60% true shooting is a stat line that has only been achieved by 3 other players in the history of the NBA. Michael Jordan, James Harden, and Luka Doncic across 5 different seasons. Although none of them are as efficient from the floor as Shea is this season. However, box score numbers by themselves have never been quite enough to compel voters. Of these 5 previous seasons, only one of them ended up winning the MVP, Michael Jordan in '88. And to pull it off, he had to also be the best defensive player in the league. In the case of Jokic, there's only been 1 season in modern NBA history that compares to his, Russell Westbrook in 2017. And that season, he was the runaway MVP, receiving 69 of the total 101 first-place votes. The glaring difference between these 2 seasons, the mile-wide gap in their...
Bro, this is what I've been saying, too. They'll literally have a triple-double season. Russell Westbrook had 3 triple-double seasons for 3 years straight. 3 triple-double seasons. He's not going to get a ring. He's not going to get a ring.
Efficiency. Nearly a decade and some of the most absurd statistical seasons later, and the upgraded version of Westbrook's MVP season.
If you look at some like videos that people have, like, they talked about, Russell was literally stealing rebounds from niggas. He would steal rebounds. I'm not saying, I don't even know if he meant to do it. But he would dead steal rebound from, like, Steven Adams could dead just grab the rebound. He would dead steal rebounds.
Not only doesn't warrant a runaway victory for the award, it may not even win it.
I'm not taking away of what he did,
hardly even scratch the surface of the impacted value these 2 provide every game. If we take a deeper look into some of their more advanced numbers, we can see just how remarkable Shea and Jokic have been this season.
Because motherfuckers forgot about that, bro. They forgot about the 3 years triple-double. You ain't forget about it. Like, if I bring it up to you, like, oh, I remember. But it's like, niggas ain't putting Russell in the top, you know what I'm saying?
And why the MVP race is as close as it is. To put into perspective
the
caliber
on the same
of season these 2
are
having, LeBron at his absolute statistical peak had a box plus minus of 13.24. Steph Curry at his absolute best had a BPM of 11.94. This season, Jokic has a box plus minus of 13.21 and Shea is at 11.58. Choosing between Jokic and SGA this season is like picking between 09 LeBron and 2016 Steph. Good luck. For the last half-decade, Jokic has led the league in just about every advanced metric by about a mile. But this season, Shea has threatened Jokic's spot and even dethroned him at times as the best player in the league. A feat that, in and of itself, is probably—
I hear a lot of people talking about Shea, bro. About that nigga's a bucket, bro. I hear a lot of it, man.
the most impressive thing he's done all season. On any given night, either one of them can look like the most impactful player on the planet. And even looking at advanced numbers, the edge is only slightly in Jokic's favor. Crafted NBA has Jokic as the best player in the NBA this season, with Shea right behind him, and then a really big gap, and then everyone else. Estimated plus minus, on the other hand, has Shea as the best player in the league this season, with Jokic right behind him, and then huge gap, everyone else.
Goodness,
a quick glance at any of these catch-all statistics will tell you that Jokic and SGA are both historically and almost equally as dominant this season. Fortunately for those who are put to the difficult task—
Imagine if they was on the same team. Now, obviously, that doesn't have to work at all. That only looks good on paper. A lot of shit looks good on paper. The chemistry could be different on the court. But just imagine if they were both on the same team, a point guard and a center. Like, they both the bet. That would be like— that would just be cool to see.
Task of choosing between Jokic and SGA,
because they don't show that shit in the All-Star game. Niggas be like lollygagging. The All-Star game is literally YMCA players.
for MVP. These numbers have never been a direct indication of who will or who should win the award. Over the last 2 decades, the best or most impactful player in the NBA in any given season, according to some of the best advanced metrics, ended up winning the MVP award only about half of the time. Many times, these are cases where the individual numbers were backed with regular season team success, but rarely have the numbers alone, regardless of how great they were, been enough to be crowned the most valuable player in the league. In fact, if putting up the best stats automatically made a player the MVP, voting for the award wouldn't even be necessary. So in terms of sheer individual numbers, there isn't a very compelling case to be made in either direction. Jokic's numbers are better, but without more context, their dominance from game to game is virtually the same. So we need to add more context. How are these performances impacting their team? And to what extent does their historic production lead their team to success?
Man. I was about to say, is it over? That shit was 16 minutes.
In most cases, when 2 players are having incredible seasons, the tiebreaker in the eyes of fans and voters comes down to how well their team is playing. The second ingredient to the MVP recipe: win and win often. 25 of the last 30 MVPs went to players who clinched either the first or second seed in their conference. And right now, the Thunder aren't just winning more games than the Nuggets. They are the 4th highest winning team in modern NBA history. But recently, team success has held less weight in the MVP discussion than it has in the past. 3 of the last 4 MVPs going to players outside of the top 2 seeds. Nikola Jokic being just the 2nd player in over 40 years to win the MVP, despite his team not even cracking 50 wins in a full season back in 2021. As if the voters have made the decision that the MVP isn't limited to simply the best player on the best team.
Nigga, I guess winning means nothing anymore. That's what I'm saying. Motherfuckers don't care about rings no more. Like, what is the league? What's the purpose of the league at this point? Niggas don't want to sit here and not care about wins, but you don't want to enter in a 1v1 joint so you could really see if you the best player. Shea will probably kill Jokic in a 1v1. That's the best player.
Team, but rather the player who has the largest.
If you can't decide, put them niggas in a 1v1 match. Niggas ain't gonna do that, bro. The league ain't gonna do that, bro. This is all bull.
They're not gonna do that. Winning team. And right now, there is one player in basketball who is impacting the game far more than anyone else. Here are the current top 8 leaders in the MVP race: Jokic, Shea, Giannis, Tatum, Mitchell, Curry, Mobley, and LeBron. And here are the net ratings of each of their teams. Shea has put on a masterclass all season, leading the Thunder to be not just the most dominant team this season, but the 2nd most dominant regular season team in NBA history in terms of net rating. And for many people, the overwhelming team success—
she on his body. She was on his body, love.
NBA history in terms of net rating. And for
she was on his body, love. She was on his body, love.
Many people, the overwhelming team success
Nah, I ain't gonna lie, she ain't turned her head with him, so I might be off.
the Thunder have had this season is enough
she
to
was on
push
his
Shea
body.
into the lead for the MVP. But value isn't just when your team wins. It is how much your team depends on you to win. If we look at each team's net rating when their MVP candidate is on the floor, it is clear that the Thunder are easily the best team in the league when Shea is on the court, with an absurd net rating of plus 18.3. This means that when Shea is on the floor, the Thunder are nearly 20 points better than their opponents per 100 possessions.
That sounds
Followed by
good.
the Cavs with Mobley, the Cavs with
These are some real deep personal stats.
Mitchell, and the Nuggets with Jokic. But the most revealing measure is the difference a player makes for their team when they're on the court versus when they're off the court, where Nikola Jokic jumps out as by far the most valuable and important player to his team in the entire league. His presence on the floor is the difference between the Nuggets being a net negative 8.2 points, bordering the worst team in the NBA, and a plus 10.6, one of the best teams in the NBA. For many of these MVP candidates, their team can still compete at a high level even when they're off the court, like the Celtics without Tatum, the Cavs without Mitchell or without Mobley, the Lakers without LeBron, and the Thunder without Shea. Steph and Giannis are the only other MVP candidates who elevate their teams from below average to title contenders. But without Jokic on the floor this season, the Nuggets are nearly the worst team in the league.
Man, if I'm on the Nuggets and I'm watching this shit, I'm going to the gym. It's time to lock in. Goodness. So does he deserve the MVP? Because when he's not on the floor, that team is complete dirt water.
Worth considering who these players play around when they're on the floor. A rotation that tends to keep starters together is bound to favor those in that starting lineup compared to a rotation that pulls and plugs periodically. For example, if Jokic tends to play with starters more often than not, but SGA is constantly playing with rotational players, Jokic's numbers are going to appear better on paper because he's playing alongside a better group. And so I looked into this. How many possessions these MVP candidates have played this season, and how many of those possessions were exclusively with the starting lineup. And it turns out that Nikola Jokic does have the benefit of playing with the best players on the Nuggets more than any of these other candidates play with theirs. 17% of all of his minutes on the court coming alongside the Nuggets starters. For comparison, Steph only plays with the Warriors starting lineup 9% of the time. But in most cases, this number is negligible. For example, Giannis plays with the Bucks starters virtually as much as Jokic plays with his. And at most, the difference in time these players see on the court with their best unit varies by less than 10% of their total playing time. In other words, it doesn't really matter who Jokic is playing around. He rises the tides for his entire team significantly more than anyone else in the entire league. In fact, according to Cleaning the Glass, when you translate these on-off splits to an estimation of impact on Denver's record, the Nuggets are a staggering 45 wins better as a team when Jokic is on the floor versus when he isn't. For comparison, Shea's on-court impact on the Thunder projects to them being about 15 wins better as a team. But this is where the discussion becomes a matter of what you value most in your most valuable player. Because while Jokic elevates the Nuggets to one of the best teams in the league, Shea elevates the Thunder to being one of the best teams of all time. Is it more valuable to drag your team from being bad to being in title contention? Or is it more valuable to elevate your team from title hopefuls to overwhelming title favorites?
Title favorites, bro. Win, lose, bad, win, good. Very simple. Like, all this extra stuff is cool, but when it boils down to it, players are only going to be remembered by the rings that they have. Do you have a ring? Charles Barkley, I didn't even notice. He was a beast. Charles was a monster. I might have to check out Charles' highlights, bro. Charles was a beast, no ring. Shaq clowns him for it to this day. Hell no,
This
bro.
is essentially what the MVP race is boiling down to. A player with ungodly numbers propelling his team to compete at a level they have no business being at, or a historically great scoring juggernaut who is the sole leader of the best team in recent history. And the answer to this question may boil down to a third and final ingredient to the MVP award, a factor that is often ultimately decided who has won in the past and will more than likely be the deciding factor this season.
Wins, bro. Wins.
In ESPN's most recent MVP straw poll, 100 members of the media were asked to cast their vote on who they thought was the MVP of the 2025 NBA season. The results? Within the top 5, Donovan Mitchell received 0 first place votes.
Good.
So did Tatum, and so did Giannis. Nikola Jokic received 30, and Shai Gilgeous-Alexander received 70 of the 100 first place votes. So far, the media has spoken, and they think Shai is this season's most valuable player. But in more recent surveys asking players, NBA executives, and NBA analysts, out of the 25 votes that were casted, 18 were in favor of Jokic, and only 7 voted for Shai. Which brings us to our third ingredient in the MVP, narratives. Beyond what you do on the court, the story has to be in your favor as well. And at the moment, every narrative is beaming directly at Shai Gilgeous-Alexander to become this season's most valuable player. First and foremost, he is the best player on the best team, a formula that has led to more MVPs than any other. While Jokic is fighting the uphill battle of voter fatigue, Shai is ripe to receive his first MVP. He's not just having a great season, he's having an all-time great individual season. He plays both sides of the ball, he is the leader of the NBA's brightest young team, and in a league that's been searching for a fresh face, Shai is front and center. SGA has what I consider to be the perfect MVP resume this season. He checks every single box for what you would want in your most valuable player. He has the marquee performances, he has the momentum, he has the...
I knew he was nice. Like, this is y'all gonna probably hate me. I knew he was nice because of his 2K rate. That nigga like 96 overall. I think he probably higher now. Well, I understand. And I bet on him a couple times back in the day. I didn't know he was this nice. I mean, you know, if I'm not gonna sit here and watch the full games, and I'm not gonna watch the highlights, I should really just be keeping up with the stat sheet and just the highlights and just at least keeping up with the numbers of players. You know what I'm saying? Because, man, watching a full game, that's very time-consuming. Y'all can do that shit. I can't, because I got shit to do.
And, of course, he's never won it before. But narratives can also lead us astray. They can allow our emotions to dictate how we perceive what we are actually seeing.
This is true, but it's about wins. It's about wins, though. It's all, at the end of the day, it's about wins.
Gives us points to reference in search for the most fair and accurate conclusion. It allows us to not be prisoners of the moment, but instead consider the history of the game and the unwritten rules we've abided by up to this point. Precedence tells us that no matter how great a player is, winning 4 MVPs before making it to the finals even twice is completely unheard of, even for the greatest players to ever play. For this same reason, voter fatigue is a frustrating but very real thing. If the MVP award purely went to the most valuable player in the league every season, Michael Jordan and LeBron would each be sitting on about 8 of them right now. Instead, the award sort of blends from one season to the next, taking in the context of everything that came before it and the consequences of it.
Like it's like they're trying to like. Yeah, I listen. As much as I think Jordan better than Bron, listen, Michael would have more MVPs, and Jordan. And, I mean, Jordan would have more MVPs, and LeBron would have more MVPs. But like they make it so inconsistent, like they don't want to give the MVP to the same player every year. But it's like, my nigga, if I'm the best player every year, why the fuck? I don't understand. Why are you giving it to another nigga that's not better than me? It doesn't make sense. Where's the logic in that? It's so flip flop. It's messy, bro. It's very messy. It's like
decades ago, MVP voters decided that the award was not reserved for the best player or even the player having the best season. Instead, it was an award that had multiple ingredients, multiple boxes that needed to be checked off. But even by their own criteria, what qualified a player to be the MVP was changing.
But you know what? The most valuable player, like a person that has the best stats and stuff like that, like Harden would probably get that, right? At one point, Harden was unstoppable, but then the playoffs, he choked. So then you got to really look at it like, okay, a player could be the best player and be trash. He can't get a ring. So is he really a most valuable player? And you could look at that from history. Like, well, even though James Harden had another great season like he did last year, he didn't win a ring last year. So this year it's like, bro, he's not even going to be in the contending because he's not good in the playoffs. But even still, Jordan and LeBron would have more MVPs if it still was accurate. Like, because LeBron was in the finals, what, 7-8 times straight? Like, what the fuck?
All the time.
Like, come on.
If it was simply the player having the best.
But like I said, yeah, wait a minute, because it's not about finals. Like, I'm not like LeBron lost. You know what I'm saying? So looking at it from history, it's like, don't give him the MVP because he can't win a finals.
A season, Michael Jordan would have won it about 8 times. If it was the best player on the best team, Michael Jordan would have won it about 8 times. But instead, he has 5, which has essentially set a firm benchmark on how voters vote for the foreseeable future. Voters messed up by not rewarding MJ with the number of MVPs he rightfully earned, and so every player that came after him is held to the same arbitrary, convoluted standard. As one fan put it, sports writers regret not giving Jordan all the MVPs and now punish everyone after that like it's a Supreme Court case and not just something they could.
Hey, if I'm Jordan, I'm chilling. Let's go. Punish everybody forever. For eternity, bro. Y'all ain't get, unless y'all want to give me my MVPs that I rightfully deserve now. If y'all don't want to do that, don't care. But I don't care, bro. And I'm a hat. Listen, hold on. I'm not even really like that, bro. Because honestly, like from a logical perspective, just sitting thinking it through, like I want players to get what they deserve. But if I'm Jordan, I'm pissed off because it's like, okay, if you're going to start giving players what they truly deserve, we're going to have to go back a few seasons. We're going to have to start taking some trophies from niggas. I'm going to need mine. Either y'all don't got to take trophies, just give me 3. You ain't even got to put it on paper, just give me 3. I got 8 MVPs. They going to look at the seasons like when you get these. Wait, no, somebody got that year. Nigga, listen. It is what it is.
Change at any time.
Give me my
case
3.
of we do it this way because we've always done it this way. The MVP award should be given to the most valuable player in the league.
Yeah.
But it's not quite that simple. And it never has been. To make the argument that Jokic deserves the MVP because he is objectively having the best season in basketball right now would be the most logical conclusion. But it would also be ignoring the 78 years of history, tradition, and expectations that we have come to follow. Based on the responses to this discussion so far, it appears that now more than ever, the players and the people involved in the NBA from game to game view the award as a reflection of simply who is the best, most impactful player. And the media looks at it through the lens more of story and narrative. And in the end, it is the media who gets to vote. With less than a month left in the regular season, the race for the MVP only seems to be getting tighter with each game. And in what is shaping up to be the greatest MVP battle we have ever seen, voters will have to either stay the course and vote for a player that has built a near perfect MVP case, or make a rare exception to a player that is quite possibly having the most impactful individual season in modern NBA history.
That was a good video. I don't give a fuck about none of that carrying shit. Rest about wins. Like, shit, whose fault is it that Jokic has to be on a struggling team? It's like, whose fault is it that motherfuckers don't want to play good? Like, bro, come on, man. Like, come on, man. I don't think Jokic doesn't want that team to be struggling, so you want to give him a pity MVP. It's like, come on, bro. That don't make no sense at all, bro. I think SGA should get the MVP because he's winning games, and that's the whole purpose. The whole purpose of the regular season is to get as many wins as possible. That's the whole purpose of the regular season, to get into the end, like to get into the playoffs, to get into the finals. That's the whole purpose of the regular season. That's the whole purpose. So giving Jokic the MVP off pity just because he's dragging a bad team. And they're not even a bad team, bro. The Nuggets literally are not even a bad team. I don't know how they're playing, but the way bro just said in the comments, if they are playing like really bad, bro, giving him a pity MVP, like come on, man, that's ridiculous. I think without watching no games, without extensive knowledge, just looking off of this video and knowing that this dude has all the stats, SGA should definitely get the MVP. But I don't know that much about basketball. Let me know in the comments what y'all think.
You actually finished my video. I don't know if you watched a lot or a little, but I appreciate you. I'm gonna see you on the next video. I'm out!